Welcome back, exam candidates. So, if you're gearing up to tackle corporate finance on your upcoming test, you are literally in the exact right place. Today, we're diving into an explainer on a topic that is absolutely guaranteed to show up on test day, and that's bond ratings. We're going to break down the critical differences between investment grade and junk bonds, and honestly, we're going to make sure you completely master that crucial risk-return relationship you need to understand to pass with flying colors. So, let's get into it.
Okay, let's dive right into this roadmap. First up, intro to bond ratings. Then, judging creditworthiness, followed by investment grade versus junk. Fourth is the risk-return relationship, and we'll wrap up with avoiding exam mistakes.
Section 1, Intro to Bond Ratings. All right, to really wrap our heads around this, I want you to put yourself in the shoes of an investor for a second. Imagine you've got a massive pile of capital to park somewhere safe, but, you still need a decent return. So you look at corporate bonds, which are basically just formal IOUs, but here's the million-dollar dilemma. How do you, from the outside, actually know if a bond is safe? I mean, you can't just take management's word for it, right? Every corporate issuer out there is going to claim their debt is a sure thing. This fundamental problem of judging a borrower's reliability is exactly why the financial market had to create a standardized system.
And that brings us right to the formal definition of bond ratings. A bond rating is essentially an evaluation assigned by a credit rating agency. The two major players you'll definitely need to know for the exam are Moody's and Standard & Poor's. Now, investors use these ratings to judge the creditworthiness of a bond issue. Think of these agencies as providing you with the ultimate cheat sheet. They do all the heavy lifting, the auditing, the deep dive analysis of a company's financial health, just to figure out the likelihood of them actually making good on their commitment to pay back your interest and principal.
Section 2, Judging Creditworthiness.
So the crucial point is that these readings aren't just casual suggestions or friendly advice. They actually act as legally binding guardrails in the real market. See, there are strict fiduciary limits on bond investments. Certain institutions, like banks and insurance companies, are holding on to other people's money. It's a huge responsibility. Because of that, they are legally restricted. They are absolutely only allowed to invest in investment-grade bonds. It keeps them from taking, wild gambles with everyday depositors' funds.
Section 3, Investment Grade versus Junk.
And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate face-off you need to know. On the left side of the ring, we've got investment-grade bonds. These are your safe, moderate-risk investments, and they max out at a AAA rating, usually reserved for massive, incredibly stable corporations. Now, on the right side, we have non-investment grade bonds, which basically everyone just calls junk bonds. These carry a high default risk, but they offer a high reward to try and entice buyers. They're rated BB or lower. Just a quick heads up, the exam might also try to throw you off by calling them speculative grade or high-yield bonds, but don't let it fool you, they all mean the exact same thing: junk.
Section 4, The Risk-Return Relationship. Okay, understanding this dynamic between risk and return is literally your master key for passing this exam. Let's look at this ranking. We start way up at the top with U.S. Treasury bonds, the absolute safest of the safe. Now, as we walk straight down this list, all the way down to junk bonds at the very bottom, look at what happens. The red arrow shows risk increasing as we move down, right? But the purple arrow shows return increasing right alongside it. It's a lockstep move. Moving down the credit quality spectrum corresponds to a direct, simultaneous increase in both risk and required return. Listen, if you write down one thing from this explainer today, please let it be this core financial mantra. Lower rating equals higher default risk equals higher required return. Let me just say that one more time so it really locks into your brain. Lower rating means higher default risk, which mathematically forces a higher required return. Think about it. If a bond is rated BB instead of AAA, the risk that the company goes belly up and defaults is way higher. So to convince any rational investor to actually buy that bond, the issuer has to sweeten the pot. They have to offer a higher yield. Section 5, Avoiding Exam Mistakes. All right, let's get into some insider info on exactly how the test writers are going to try to trick you. Here is the classic exam trap. Does a higher yield mean a better, safer investment? Just pause and think about that for a quick second. If you're looking at a bond offering a massive 12% yield while literally everything else is offering like 4%, is that magically a better, safer place to park your hard-earned capital? Now, what's really interesting about this slide is it gives you the ultimate success tip to beat that trap. High yield is compensation for high risk, period. It is not a guarantee of safety. Exam writers absolutely love to bait candidates with high-yield bonds, crossing their fingers that you'll blindly associate the phrase high yield with good investment. But you know better now.
That high yield strictly compensates you, the investor, for taking on a substantially higher probability that the company defaults and leaves you with nothing.
If you ever catch yourself getting tempted by those sky-high returns on a practice question, just ground yourself in the hard, clinical reality of what these instruments actually are. Quote, junk bonds are high-risk, high-reward securities rated at less than investment grade. That's it. There is absolutely no magic trick to getting high returns safely. The high reward is mathematically required because the underlying asset is inherently risky.
So, I want to leave you with this one final provocative question. When you finally sit down for your exam, will you fall for the high-yield trap? I highly doubt it. By now, you've got that unbreakable connection between bond ratings, default risk, and required return completely hardwired into your brain. You know that AAA means safe but lower yield, and BB means junk, high risk, and high yield. Keep that structured relationship front and center, and you are 100% prepared to conquer this topic. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and happy studying!